Here we are for round 2, and I'm going to mulligan this. Lotus Bloom is nice, but this deck needs a little more spells, I feel like. And we have pretty powerful cards in our deck, like Ancestral Vision, Sheldog Isle. It's still kind of bad that we lost round 1. I think we had not the best matchup and things didn't really go very well for us. Now, I just saw that my opponent has 80 cards, so he either didn't submit his deck or he's playing a challenge where he's playing every card he drafted. Let's see if we can beat that. He's probably still going to do powerful stuff, so especially with a deck like Storm, which is rather easy to hate. It's certainly not an auto win if your opponent is playing with a couple of more cards. Yeah, he just fetches out a Hierarch. And we have a Baleful Strix. That might actually be better than Shelldocking. We can always Shelldock later, not really in a hurry. That's actually fine. If he's playing fair, then our deck should be able to win with the Ancestral Vision coming off Suspend. This has Suspend 3, so it doesn't really work out too well, but we can just see what's below the Sheldog Isle. Nothing, only lands. That's pretty bad. And I think we suspend this anyway. I don't see us hardcasting it, so at least now it's not too bad if he has something for the Sheldog Isle, but 4 lands was still pretty miserable. He's just curving out into value creatures while we are trying to do something a little more unfair. He might have something like Natural Order, but he didn't cast it yet, so feeling kind of good about that. Now, Intuition is interesting. Don't really know what we want. Before having drawn the 3 cards, it's kind of difficult to say. We could just go for... No, we don't have the time for any of the Suspend cards. I think we just drop the land and wait with the Intuition to see what he does. Okay, he just doesn't cast anything, which means that we are going to Ancestral, and I don't think we are going to be dead soon. But of course we could Intuition for some fast mana to make sure that we actually have the Storm turn next turn with the Riftwing Cloudskate coming off. I think we should be fine. I don't feel like he's burning us out. It's possible, but so be it. Going for the mana cards also means that he isn't really... we aren't going to draw these, which makes it more more realistic to draw into our Storm combo cards instead. He gave us the monolith, which makes sense, because we can only use it once. I really hope that we aren't dead here, but of course, I don't know. Mind's Desire. Interesting. So, let's see. We have the Brain Freeze already. We have 5 mana, 1 spell. Could drop a Lion's Eye Diamond, and we could use Turnabout to generate an extra mana, but we aren't sure if we can actually get that Brain Freeze going. So the Storm count is pretty amazing though, given that we also Frantic Surge. I think we just go for it. Mind's Desire is just too strong here to not play it. So we have 5, 6 with Turnabout and Frantic Surge to find something. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, Lotus Bloom once again pretty late to the party. 2 spells, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the only bad thing is that we don't get to Brain Freeze, really. But I think that's fine. Oh yeah, Brain Freeze isn't the best win condition against him anyway. Now we have the 6 mana for the Desire, and we could pop the diamond right here, but we don't know if we want to have Brain Freeze in the yard. We can still activate the diamond in response to casting any of these spells, so I think that's fine, giving us more information on what mana we want or need. Okay, so we have a Desire for 6. Seething Song is a good start. Badlands, Plateau, Grizzlebrand. And Empty the Warrens. Nice. So I don't see a way to cast this Brain Freeze, which is kind of sad. Would have loved to win with that. But let's cast Seething Song, Grizzlebrand. And now the question is, do we want to draw 7? I think we do. Going to make 3 blue with the diamond, draw 7, maybe cast some more spells and then empty the Warrens. I think we can go down to 7. Yeah, I want to go down to 7. So that's basically only a scroll rack. Oh no, we have 8 mana, so that's actually much more. We can gift for something. We can we can't demonic. We don't, because we don't have the mana. So we could also jar, but that seems pretty crazy. We only have 6 cards left, so I think that would kill us. Now, if we scroll rack, we can actually find Time Twister. But I don't know if I want to give him an additional 7 cards to deal with Grizzlebrand. Don't think I do. Now, what do I scroll wreck here? Whatever I don't want, I guess. I don't want most of these, so I can get rid of all of them except for the tutor. No, I can get rid of all of them and put the tutor on top. Now, I didn't want to time twister. I can empty and remand the empty, the last empty. Or I could just power stone and remand that, then empty the Warrens. I think both is fine. Kind of like empty and then remand that better. Okay, it's his turn. We can still time twister if we want and get everything back with a whole lot of mana. But this looks like it's pretty good board position for us. And we probably don't want to time twister. Well, we would probably time twister before we would die from decking, of course. He's magma jetting Griselbrand in his upkeep, hoping to find something. It's possible that we can just kill him if we draw another 7 with Time Twister and Griselbrand. But as I said, I don't really want to give him the extra cards. Bottom is good news. But it does make sense, he's looking for very specific cards at this point. And who knows if he has them in his deck. And he concedes, which is nice. We don't have to go through the motions. We wouldn't have time twisted until the last minute. And at that point I probably should have had enough to actually win the game. So this doesn't look like I need any kind of boarding plan. I'm still going to not play Lake of the Dead. It just seems too dangerous. Could actually take out the Brain Freeze because he has so many cards in his deck, but I expect him to go down to 40 after boarding, and even then I would probably keep it in. My deck is light on win conditions, and that's one of my better ones. Our opponent is down to a 40 card deck on the play, mulligans to 6, and we do keep this with a Lotus Bloom and a Memory Jar and a Remand. It's actually pretty nice. Question is when to suspend Lotus Bloom. We might actually want to wait a turn. Whoa. So now we definitely wait a turn so that these come off at the same time. This is going to be a suspend festival. Hopefully we can find a land to Relic. And hopefully he doesn't have too many crazy cards to survival up. The worst thing is probably land destruction. I'm just going to remand to buy some time. It's not the most powerful card I'm remanding, but hitting my land drop is really important for me. And if that was his best card, then it's fine to remand it, I guess. Every turn I buy is very valuable, and this just is perfect. So these come off in 2, which means we can actually Gifts Ungiven. Next turn, maybe main phase even, just to get some lands. That's a nice card. And that's also a nice card, but it doesn't get cast with the mana, so it's not going to destroy my Coalition Relic. And that's pretty good for me. So he didn't even use Survival because he wanted to curve out, but given that he has 10th Street Hooligan, he should have just survivaled for the Hooligan. No, I didn't have the Relic at that point. Okay, never mind. Well, he could have survived. He could have done it now, which probably would have still been better. But I can see that he wants a certain clock. We even drew a land, so we don't actually have to cast Gifts Ungiven for anything. We can just go for dropping Memory Jar here and then unloading our hand and refueling next turn. That has to be even better than getting any kind of lands. This is going to be probably the most crazy turn. We won't have Brain Freeze available. That's the one thing that's kind of bad. There's another problem with Ancestral Vision. We kind of want to activate Jar before Vision resolves, but we need the mana, the additional mana and the spell from Seething Song, or at least we want it. At the beginning of the next end step, the cards are returned. So what we could actually do is to kind of try to exile this Brain Freeze with Memory Jar, but then remember that we have it and then kill with it in our end of turn. That sounds like a very nice option as well. Maybe we don't need the Seething Song after all. Wow. Target player chooses 3 cards from his or her hand and puts them on top of his or her library in any order. So that would be pretty good for him. But I think we just use it to keep all of these combo cards and have an epic Memory Jar turn. The alternative would be to just use the jar to protect ourselves, but that's a pretty weak use of a draw 7, I feel like. I think this just wins us the game, basically. He's playing a very fair deck, it feels like. Okay. I'm going to go for the upkeep Memory Jar. And then we are going to have something like 11 cards in hand. So that should be pretty good. So let's put this on the stack. Okay. Sacrifice the jar. Draw 7, 3 of which we know from Stunted Growth. And he survivals his Auron Viper in response. Okay, because he wants to have a creature in hand for next turn. That's fine. I mean, he would have drawn 7 anyway, so... He probably could have just discarded... Well, no, he couldn't, because then his hand would have been gone. But at the end of his turn, he would have had the Oran Viper back. Don't think that's really a necessary play. It looks like Thragtusk is his weapon of choice against our deck. I really hope that he doesn't have an Eldrazi in his deck, because it feels like we are going to have to win with Brain Freeze here. So we still have a draw step. Frantic Surge is amazing. So let's make a black. Dropping Shelldog out doesn't seem like the worst idea. We could Gifts, but that's not very reliable. We could also Scroll Rack for an almost infinite amount, but I feel like Brain Freeze is already lethal, right? If we just chain our spells. We are already up to 2 spells. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that should be enough. Let's just drop Shelldog. And there's a Mind's Desire. I can't resist a Mind's Desire. Just too good. Now, we aren't going to drop any more lands, so we can just start with our spells. Play a Seething Song. Keeping the blue. Turnabouting the lands. We don't need any more red mana. Can just drop the Monolith. We should probably Frantic Surge somewhere here. I'm just going to try to make this as quick as possible. He's basically dead, but we do want to Mind's Desire. I mean, that's kind of the whole fun part. So Dynamo, Scroll Rack. Now, Cloudskate is pretty expensive. I don't really want to cast that. Let's just cast the Desire now, and then we are still going to Brain Freeze. Griselbrand, Demonic Tutor, Empty the Warrens, Time Twister. Pretty bad. Pretty bad one, I feel like, but I think it's not a big deal. So now we could use this for blue or black if we want to cast Baleful Strix as well. And then we just Brain Freeze him. And now if he does have an Eldrazi in his deck, it's kind of awkward. But if he doesn't, we just win. Okay, looks like he's down to 0 cards. He does have his upkeep, but I don't see anything happening there. So yeah, he doesn't want us to cast Empty the Warrens. Successfully storming off wasn't difficult with Memory Jar, Ancestral Vision, and Lotus Bloom being active in the same turn. So that was quite an easy match against a red-green beat stack.